Some place names use other spellings. See also Menominee and Menominee. The Menominee are a federally recognized nation of Native Americans living in Wisconsin. The tribe has a 353.894 square miles reservation in the state. Their historic territory originally included an estimated 10 million acres in present-day Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. The tribe has 8,700 members. They are the only tribe living in Wisconsin that had its origins in this territory. The tribe was terminated in the 1950s under federal policy of the time which stressed assimilation. During that period, they brought what has become a landmark case in Indian law to the United States Supreme Court, in Menominee Tribe v. United States, to protect their treaty hunting and fishing rights. The Wisconsin Supreme Court and the United States Court of Claims had drawn opposing conclusions about the effect of the termination on Menominee hunting and fishing rights on their former reservation land. The U.S. Supreme Court determined that the tribe had not lost traditional hunting and fishing rights as a result of termination, as Congress had not clearly ended these in its legislation. The tribe regained federal recognition in 1973 in an act of Congress, and re-established its reservation in 1975. They operate under a written constitution establishing an elected government. Their first government under it took over tribal government and administration from the Bureau of Indian Affairs in 1979. Overview. The Menominee are part of the Algonquin language family of North America, made up several tribes now located around the Great Lakes and many other tribes based along the Atlantic coast. They are one of the historical tribes of present-day Upper Michigan and Wisconsin. They occupied a territory of about 10 million acres in the period of European colonization. They are believed to have been well settled in that territory for more than 1,000 years. By some accounts, they are descended from the old Copper Culture people and other indigenous peoples who had been in this area for 10,000 years. The Menominee are the only contemporary tribe in Wisconsin whose creation story tells that they have always been here. Their reservation is located 60 miles west of the site of their creation, according to their tradition. They arose where the Menominee River enters Green Bay of Lake Michigan, where the city of Marinette, Wisconsin has since developed. Their name for themselves is Mamasekta, meaning the people. The name Menominee is not their autonym. It was adopted by Europeans from the Ojibwe people, another Algonquin tribe whom they encountered first as they moved west and who told them of the Menominee. The Ojibwe name for the tribe was Menominee, meaning wild rice people, as they cultivated wild rice as one of their most important food staples. Historically, the Menominee were known to be a peaceful, friendly and welcoming nation, who had a reputation for getting along with other tribes. When the Oneota people, ancestors of several historical tribes throughout the Midwest, migrated into present-day Wisconsin between 800 AD and 900 AD, the indigenous Menominee shared the forests and waters with them. They developed and maintained a friendship that exists to this day. The Menominee are an eastern woodlands tribe. They were initially encountered by European explorers in Wisconsin in the mid-17th century during the colonial era, and had extended interaction with them during later periods in North America. During this period they lived in numerous villages which the French visited for fur trading. The anthropologist James Mooney in 1928 estimated that the tribe's number in 1650 was 3,000 persons. The early French explorers and traders referred to the people as "follis of Wands," referring to the wild rice which they cultivated and gathered as one of their staple foods. The Menominee have traditionally subsisted on a wide variety of plants and animals, with wild rice and sturgeon being two of the most important. Wild rice has a special importance to the tribe as their staple grain, while the sturgeon has a mythological importance and is often referred to as the father of the Menominee. Feasts are still held annually at which each of these is served. Menominee customs are quite similar to those of the Chippewa and other Algonquin people. Their language has a closer affinity to those of the Fox and Kickapoo tribes. All four spoke Anishinaabe languages, part of the Algonquin family. The five principal Menominee clans are the bear, the eagle, the wolf, the crane, and the moose. Each has traditional responsibilities within the tribe. With a patrilineal kinship system, traditional Menominee believe that children derive their social status from their fathers, and are born into the father's clan. Members of the same clan are considered relatives, so must choose marriage partners from outside their clan. Ethnologist James Mooney wrote an article on the Menominee which appeared in Catholic Encyclopedia, incorrectly reporting that their descent and inheritance proceeds through the female line. Such as a matrilineal kinship system is common among many other Native American peoples, including other Algonquin tribes. Culture. Menominee mythology is rich with ethical meaning. It has many elements in common with the sacred literature and cultures of other Native American peoples. Traditional Menominee believe that the earth forms a partition between the upper and lower worlds. The upper world represents good and the lower world represents evil. These two worlds are divided into several layers, the furthest being the most powerful. The sun is at the highest level in the upper world, followed by the thunderbird and the morning star, the golden eagles and other birds, led by the bald eagle. The first level below the earth in the lower world is occupied by the horned serpent. The succeeding lower levels are the home of the white deer, who helped create the medicine dance. The next level is that of the underwater panther. The lowest level is ruled by the great white bear. Traditional Menominee use dreaming as a way of connecting with a guardian spirit in order to gain power. During the rite of passage at puberty, both boys and girls fast for days, living in a small isolated wigwam. The youths meet individually with elders for interpretation of their dreams. The elders inform the youths what responsibilities they will take on following their rite of passage. Ethnobotany Pseudognathylium obtusifolium, SSP obtusifolium is used medicinally. Please see that article for more information. History of the Menominee. The tribe originally occupied a large territory of 10 million acres extending from Wisconsin to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Historic references include one by Father Frederick Biraga, a missionary priest in Michigan, who in his 1878 dictionary wrote, Mishinimakinago, place G. This name is given to some strange Indians, who are rowing through the woods, and who are sometimes heard shooting, but never seen. And from this word, the name of the village of Mackinac, or Michilimackinac, is derived. Mayakare is the Menominee word for turtle. In his The Indian Tribes of North America, John Reed Swanton recorded under the Wisconsin section, Menominee, a band named Missinimak Kimako Winniwook, Michilimackinac people, near the old fort at Mackinac. Michilimackinac is also spelled as Mishinimackinago, Mishimakinung, Mishinimackinago, Misilimakinak, Tierdondoragi. The Menominee are descendants of the late woodland Indians who inhabited the lands once occupied by Hopewell Indians, the earliest human inhabitants of the Lake Michigan region. As the Hopewell culture declined, circa 800 AD, the Lake Michigan region eventually became home to late woodland Indians. Early fur traders, coureurs de bois, and explorers from France encountered their descendants. The Menominee, Chippewa, Ottawa, Potawatomi, Sauk, Fox, Winnebago, and Miami. It is believed that the French explorer Jean Nicolet was the first non-Native American to reach Lake Michigan in 1634 or 1638. First European encounter in 1634, the Menominee and Ho-Chunk people witnessed the French explorer Jean Nicolet's approach and landing. Red Banks, near the present-day city of Green Bay, Wisconsin, later developed in this area. Nicolay, looking for a northwest passage to China, hoped to find and impress the Chinese. As the canoe approached the shore, Nicolay put on a silk Chinese ceremonial robe, stood up in the middle of the canoe and shot off 2 pistols. For at least 40 years in the 20th century, this event was presented in a biased fashion to elementary school students studying Wisconsin history. The native people were said to fear the light-skinned man who could make thunder. John Boatman has said it was more likely the native people feared for the light-skinned man, as he had demonstrated questionable mental faculties. Anyone with local knowledge would know better than to stand up in a canoe on the choppy waters of Green Bay. Pierre-François Xavier de Charlevoix, a French Catholic clergyman, professor, historian, author and explorer, kept a detailed journal of his travels through Wisconsin and Louisiana. In 1721 he came upon the Menominee, whom he referred to as Mulhomenes, which the French had adapted from an Ojibwa term. After we had advanced 5 or 6 leagues, we found ourselves abreast of a little island, which lies near the western side of the bay, and which concealed from our view the mouth of a river, on which stands the village of the Mulhomenes Indians, called by our French pupils Darwans, or Wild Oat Indians, probably from their living chiefly on this sort of grain. The whole nation consists only of this village, and that too not very numerous. 'Tis really great pity, they being the finest and handsomest men in all Canada. They are even of a larger stature than the Potawatomi. I had been assured that they had the same original and nearly the same languages with the Noquettes and the Indians at the Falls. 19th century. Initially neutral during the War of 1812, the Menominee later became allied with the British and Canadians, whom they helped defeat American forces trying to recapture Fort Mackinac in the Battle of Mackinac Island. During the ensuing decades, the Menominee were pressured by encroachment of new European-American settlers in the area. Settlers first arrived in Michigan, where lumbering on the Upper Peninsula and resource extraction attracted workers. By mid-century, encroachment by new settlers was increasing. In the 1820s, the Menominee were approached by representatives of the Christianized Stockbridge-Munsee Indians from New York to share or cede some of their land for their use. The Menominee gradually sold much of their lands in Michigan and Wisconsin to the U.S. government through 7 treaties from 1821 to 1848, first ceding their lands in Michigan. The U.S. government wanted to move them to the far west in the period when Wisconsin was organizing for statehood, to extinguish all Native American land claims. Chief Oshkosh went to look at the proposed site on the Crow River and rejected the offered land, saying the current land was better for hunting and game. The Menominee retained lands near the Wolf River in what became their current reservation. They are the only one of the Native American tribes now residing in Wisconsin who originated in the area and are living in their traditional homelands. Menominee Indian Reservation. The Menominee Indian Reservation is located in northeastern Wisconsin. For the most part, it is conterminous with Menominee County and the town of Menominee, which were established after termination of the tribe in 1961 under contemporary federal policy whose goal was assimilation. The tribe regained its federally recognized status and reservation in 1975. The reservation was created in a treaty with the United States signed on May 12, 1854, in which the Menominee relinquished all claims to the lands held by them under previous treaties, and were assigned 432 square miles on the Wolf River in present-day Wisconsin. An additional treaty, which they signed on February 11, 1856, carved out the southwestern corner of this area to create a separate reservation for the Stockbridge and Lenape tribes, who had reached the area as refugees from New York State. The latter 2 tribes have the federally recognized joint Stockbridge-Munsee community. After the tribe had regained federal recognition in 1973, it essentially restored the reservation to its historic boundaries in 1975. Many small pockets of territory within the county are not considered as part of the reservation. These amount to 1.14% of the county's area, so the reservation is essentially 98.86% of the county's area. The largest of these pockets is in the western part of the community of Keshena, Wisconsin. The reservation includes a plot of off-reservation trust land of 10.22 acres in Winnebago County, Wisconsin to the south, west of the city of Oshkosh. The reservation's total land area is 353.894 square miles, while Menominee County's land area is 357.960 square miles. The small non-reservation parts of the county are more densely populated than the reservation, holding 1,337 of the county's 4,562 total population, as opposed to the reservation's 3,225 population, as of the 2000 census. The most populous communities are Legend Lake and Keshena. Since the late 20th century, the members of the reservation have operated a number of gambling facilities in these communities as a source of revenue. They speak English as well as their traditional Menominee language, one of the Algonquin languages. Current population of the tribe is about 8,700. Communities: Keshena, Legend Lake, Middle Village, Neopet, Zor,